Hi, everybody. I'm Ariana Romero, a TV writer at Refinery 29. And as someone who watches TV for a living, I can say it's very easy to forget things, not know what things are. But as soon as I saw the trailer for Freeform's new mermaid drama, Siren, I was like, nope, this is unforgettable and everyone's going to love it. So that's why I'm so excited to introduce the world premiere of Siren to all of you right this moment. It's fresh from the editing floor at Freeform, so it's not the absolute final cut, but it is the first time anyone will be seeing Siren's debut. So, yes, give it up! I know the cast, I know the crew, they're great people, and that is why I'm so excited for you to see it. I will stop talking and let you watch the amazing episode. I will be right back at the end of it with the cast and the producers. You're going to love them as much as I do. Bye, guys. Did everybody enjoy that? I thought you would, so I would love to introduce the Siren cast and crew now. First up is the amazing showrunner and executive producer, Emily Whitesell. Next up is the executive producer and creator, the man behind everything you just saw, Eric Wald. Next up is Alex Roe. And then Eline Powell. And then Fola Evans-Akingbola. And last but not least, Ian Verdun. Everybody's here. Give it up. So guys, just to start off, obviously everyone's applauding. You guys, some of you have been working on this for far more than a year, some for a year. How's to finally see other people seeing it?
Reaction amazing. You guys, thank you so much for being here. So great to hear the reaction to what we've been working on so hard, so thank you so much.
And it got some laughs.
Yeah, thank you for laughing.
Yeah, we're very grateful to be here, and it's really, really cool to to see you guys' reaction to what we've been working hard on. Yeah.
Agreed.
Also agreed. The energy is awesome, like being able to finally see people reacting to it is because we've just been in our bubble for like a year. So it's nice to finally break the seal.
Yes, and also we did want to tell you guys, and we're glad that you particularly were the audience today, because that is obviously a work in progress still. Some of the visual effects not done yet, music, other things we're still working on to build up certain things. So it was great to get a reaction from people here who really care about what they're seeing, so thank you.
And Emily, Eric, everyone's so excited that they finally got to see this. When will they be able to see the series premiere? Do you guys know?
So we do. We finally have a premiere date, March 29th, 2000.
Yeah. Set those DVRs up now. And looking at the episode that we all just saw, Alex and Eline, there were some pretty crazy water scenes in there. Was there prep for that? Did they just toss you in the ocean? What happened?
We had some prep, didn't
We
we?
had some prep. We had
Yeah.
some free dive training, so breath hold. But this guy's a machine. He did 4 minutes on his first try. So he's the real man.
But
How
yeah,
many minutes can you do, Eline?
Eline's on
I'm on 3 minutes 12, so I'm all right.
really pretty good. And you've got small
And
lungs.
I've got little lungs, yeah.
We practiced. We were in the swimming pool a lot, trying to like figure out how we could hold our breath underwater to have some of these fight scenes and stuff work underwater.
We did actually go into the ocean in that episode. Whenever we dive in the sea, that's actually us
And it was
diving in the sea.
in Canada, in the midst of winter. It was freezing cold, but loved it.
Oh, it was the best day.
And Eline's got a dancer background. She does ballet and stuff. So when you see the mermaid moving, and you'll see more of it the more you watch, it's really quite a beautiful thing, as well as being quite dangerous.
And Ian and Fola, you guys.
Hi.
Hey guys. So we had a few glimpses at your characters, but what can you tease for them going forward?
So yeah, as you see, I play Maddie Bishop, and she's a marine biologist, but she's like just starting on her new like life track. She's trying to like find her sense of direction, studying marine biology and working at the Mammal Center with Ben. So when Rin comes into their life, she's like this force of nature. So it's like super fun watching how Maddie gets, her world gets thrown about and turned upside down, which has been really fun.
As for Xander, poor Xander, poor guy. Yeah, I think looking forward to him, he's incredibly loyal. He's like such a loyal guy, and sometimes to his own downfall. And I think people have to look forward to, I don't want to give it away. I'm like, what do I say? That's not like spoiler alert. I just think it's interesting to see a character that's very, very normal. He's like just an everyday guy. He's very salt of the earth, just like a regular dude. And he's just thrust into this ridiculous situation where something is happening that, by all intents of logic, should not be happening. And to see him grapple with that and try and convince his best friend that it's real is it's a really fun journey. It's frustrating.
Sorry, I don't believe you.
I know, you're an ass.
I regret it.
Regrets.
So we've got mermaid hunters, we have mermaids. Will we ever get a hunky merman, guys? What's going on?
What a good idea. We are thinking that would be a great thing to see a merman at
I
some
agree.
point. Yes, so stay tuned for that.
Mer nipples.
And, sorry, there's so many things I want to know. Actually, going down to the cast over there, all of you are international. None of you are Canadian, right?
No.
Not a Canadian in the bunch? So did you guys kind of fall into, a family dynamic since...
Totally.
Yeah.
These lot it was my birthday last week, and these lot made it so special. We went go-karting. I won out of these lot, just saying.
It was rigged. It was so rigged.
But yeah, we've all made a real
We love
family
each other.
bond. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely become a family.
Definitely like
I mean, we had a
competitive.
Monopoly night.
Yes.
And that kind of tested.
Lost that.
Yeah. Things
Yeah,
got
that
tough
broke me
there.
up.
That was definitely a test of our friendship.
You learn a lot about
Yeah.
each
The
other.
power of
during a
sibling
game of
rivalry,
Monopoly.
really.
Yeah,
Like
because
you're-
Alex was winning and nobody liked that. So that was
Wait a
almost.
minute, Alex was like a kind of a shady player. He'd like buy up a whole freaking avenue, like the
Go on,
whole
buy
side of the board just gone.
Look, just being good at the game.
Semantics, Alex.
Anyway,
you
we've
had a-
put
you
that
had half
past us. We went to group therapy. We're good now.
But I recommend it to any like group that's trying to get to know each other. Play Monopoly.
Yeah.
Do it.
Back to Emily and Eric. Obviously, there's a lot of undercurrents, to use a pun, of feminism in there. So why was that so important for you guys to have in your scripts?
Well, Eric started it,
Yes.
writing the original pilot, but there are themes in the show that we all really care about a lot. So the power of women and the idea that that's a society that works that way, and we'll tell way more about the society, where they come from, as we go on. But those are very important themes to us, in addition to, obviously, and I'll let Eric speak to this a little bit more, the environmental themes, the global themes, and why the mermaids are coming now. Why now? Clearly, the Earth is changing, the world is changing. So Eric wrote that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the why now of the pilot. You know, the oceans are in crisis, and that's affecting our mermaids. And it's the inciting incident of the pilot. It's why they're swimming closer to the surface. They've been forced there, and they're on a collision course with humans now. And you know, it's so interesting, Ben has a line in there that says 95% of the oceans are unexplored. So we really don't know what's down there. And that's what we play with a lot, you know, just sort of that grounded reality of what if those things really are out there? Because we don't know.
And cast down there, how was it to play with the feminist themes of the series?
I think what's so cool about Eline's character, Rin, is that, like, she's not just badass and she's not a damsel in distress, because, like, that's equally unfeminist, because no woman is just badass and no woman is just a damsel in distress, so she has all the shades, and watching Eline, like, portray that has just been very...
As is Maddie's character too.
That
is pretty bad.
Yes,
Neither
Maddie's
of those.
super
She's very
everything.
badass,
Yeah.
and also at times a damsel too.
Yeah, to have all the
full
shades
woman,
of
whole
humanity.
Yes, I think Rin's a wonderful character to play in the feminist aspect, because she constantly gets underestimated, either for her power to kill and destroy, or even her human side and appealing to her that way. So I love when we get underestimated and completely surprise them. Such a running theme through the life of a woman. So, and Maddie too, Fola. She's brainy, she's beautiful, you can have it all. You can have all those things, and that's always nice to see portrayed.
And the guys, like, feminism is just as much, you know,
About equality,
women,
yeah.
about equality. So
Thank
these
you.
guys are repping it too.
I mean, I think it's really awesome to, I mean, personally, and I think Alex can also relate to this, you know, I come from the land of women, you know, I came with a single mom, aunts, grandmothers, like, my whole family was very matriarchal. So being a part of a project that is very much so centered in equity and representation is something that I'm very much so honored to be a part of. And I think there was a question that was asked, actually, Ariana, you think you had asked it earlier, whatever. And you asked about the feminist aspects of the scene where she defends herself in the car. And I think about things like that, and I'm like, well, I mean, that to me isn't the most feminist aspect of the show, because you don't have to put a woman in danger to show her power and to show that she is equal and to show that she is deserving. So I think the very fact that the character is brave enough to leave her home and by herself and venture into the unknown, to connect her family, to connect, to find, I think that's much more feminist. I think that journey and that essence is really, that's really the bee's knees right there.
That is one of the best conversations I've had with Ian. So,
I'll just keep reminding you of it.
forever, please do. So, in that equity term, are there any maybe like mermaid, merman announcements either of you guys want to make, Eric and Emily?
We do have a few more mermaids and a merman, as we said, who will be showing up. You know, it's really cool. The design of our mermaids are really specific and interesting, and the merman has a very different design as well. So he's going to be really cool to look at. But we do have a merman will be played by Sedale Threet, an amazing LA actor, and a new mermaid who's sort of an alpha of the colony will be played by Ilea Marsoff, an amazing actress out of LA also.
That is so exciting. And speaking of these mermaids, Eline, those contacts are absolutely insane. Do you feel like when you put them in, you know your character, or was that?
I know it
better
sounds
for
so
you?
cheesy, but yes. Yeah, they're very thick, so your vision's tunnel vision. So they actually help to genuinely look at things differently. It helps with her anxiety in this new world. Like, you can't get enough information, so you want to take in as much as you can. So the content, fabulous for that. I love them.
Yes.
Albeit painful at times.
Yes, and you know, are you guys rooting for a Ben Rin love story? Fola, what do you have to say down there?
Hi.
Sorry, babe.
Well, I think what's interesting is Rin is exploring the world for the first time, and she's exploring like what it means to be human, right? So that means all aspects of what it means to be human, and you know, love and anger or whatever, all the shades of humanity. So stay tuned for Rin's exploration of that.
As she learns.
Yes, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions for this amazing group of people. So let's toss it to the group Q&A. Friends, Romans, countrymen.
Hi.
Oh my.
I guess, yeah, go ahead.
G'day, that was great. It was great to watch. I have a question to Emily and Eric. You said that VFX and music is still in development. I've got to say, love the Siren mythology. So having the voice, but also incorporating the fiddle and the sea chanty, the Irish. It was great. That was really, really enjoyed that aspect.
I'm glad you did, and some of it will stay. It's not complete yet. It's a work in progress. You'll notice there's some scenes that feel fuller in that way, and some that are a little more silent, and of course that can be effective as well. So we're still working with where to fill out and where to leave. So that is really just but we love that theme as well, and sort of bringing it in. Now this is the Pacific Northwest, so we don't want to lean too heavily on the fantastic, Irish themes, and yet we love them. So we're going to try and find just the right thing.
I think it's a great
And
combination.
the pilot will have an amazing VFX sequence that's not in there, where we go underwater with the mermaids, see them hunting, and see the net come up and catch one of them. And the effects are being done by a VFX house that also does the dragons for Game of Thrones. So all of our tails will be done by that same effects house. So they're going to be pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Can we switch sides? Yes. So this is Eline's
This is
father,
Eline's father.
who's surprised.
They surprised her parents.
Everyone, please say hi to Eline's father.
Hey!
So, Eline, the pressure is now on mine. So this is a prize. So we just flew in from Europe just to be here. So really great, and congratulations to a wonderful show.
That's your question, Daddy.
So Eline, for the past 10,000 years,
Serious question.
we humans, I'm a scientist.
Yeah,
so I
Elaine's dad's a
apologize.
scientist. So.
So the past 10,000 years, we humans, we all call ourselves Homo sapiens, have been living with the notion that we're the only species left, because the last cousin of us, the Neanderthal, unfortunately went in extinction 10,000 years ago. As you play this role, don't you often think, what if? And how has helped that to prepare for, I know, the enormous work you've put into this part?
Great question, Daddy. Let me just give you a one-line answer to that. No. I think it'd be great if it actually happened. I think that's what makes the show very exciting. What if? What if? I mean, my God, we're exploring the moon and space, but who knows what's down there? We're still so at the start of all what's in our own ocean. One can dream. I think that's definitely very exciting to play. And I think I definitely draw hypotheses, like what if a human aquatic humanoid had evolved at the same time as Homo sapiens? How far would we have come along to have the same intelligence, but just have survived in a very different world, perhaps with very different kinds of tools and very different social structures.
Okay, thank you, and I much enjoyed
Thanks. I loved your question. Very insightful.
Yes.
This was unprepared, but I had a fortune every weekend.
Thanks for
So
coming all the way from Europe to see the show.
it was great to talk in the weekends, always a little bit about what if.
Oh yes,
and,
sorry. So my daddy and I, we would talk for hours on Sunday mornings about what could the possible anthropological background be of this. So we totally geek off and go, well, the Homo florensis was found only a couple of years ago. And that was a brand new human species, so why not? And the evidence would have been wiped away by water, and anyway. So we'd go off on geeky things, so thanks, Dad.
So congratulations to all.
Thank you, and before you go, we would like to say thank you to you for that lady, because she is unbelievable.
I think you should especially thank the mother, if you can stand up.
Give it up, guys.
Thank you.
She did it. Thank you.
I had a question over here. So I really loved.
Dad.
Yeah. So I actually really loved the theme, like that Siren song, and I was just curious how you come up with that, and also was the singer I mean, I'm assuming it might have been a studio or how did you?
I auditioned, but no.
Yeah, I guess my question is how did you come up with the theme? Were there variations, and then how did you kind of find the right voice for it? Because I thought that was really great and unique. So just curious.
Yeah, it is a great question and something we've talked about a lot in the writer's room. We've had the opportunity to kind of create our own mythology, and it's been so interesting to take this, what is a classic mythology, and give it our own spin. And the Siren song is part of a lot of mermaid myths that exist around the world. And we really played with the idea that for them, it's a tool. It can be used as a weapon at times to draw in prey if necessary, but it's also something that can be used for connection. And in the pilot, when we see Ben and Rin together, she doesn't have the language yet to communicate with him, but we feel the yearning of wanting to communicate. So that's her one tool that she uses to siren him, to draw him in. Little does she know the impact it has on him, and it kind of gets in his head and infects him a bit, and really he possesses him. And in terms of the actual construction of the sound, that was an actual singer. Then we sort of manipulated the sound so that it starts off feeling like she's singing to him, and then it starts to almost swirl around the room as if it's reverberating inside his head and really sort of seeping into his consciousness.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool, the sound design aspect of it. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That's a great question.
I basically had the same question. So, but are we, as you said, there are other ways to play with the Siren song. So are we going to see other aspects and how the other mermaids utilize it as the series progresses?
Definitely. And so when they catch that mermaid in the teaser, it'll be revealed that is Rin's sister they have caught. And so she uses the Siren song when she's being held in that tank on the boat. She wants to lure those fishermen out because she basically wants to escape and destroy them. So again, in the way that, a knife can be used, to cut food, or it can be used as a weapon. So there are different ways you can use the song. And so, yeah, in the beginning, we already see it being used in a different way. Yeah. Cool.
Hello. So I did notice that in your character, her dad is native. And so I'm assuming you're half native. I'm not even gonna say what. I know that in native culture, native lore, there is a lot of mythology that has to do with half animals. And in particular, there are references to mermaid-like creatures. So I was wondering if you were gonna play with that.
You guys are good.
Very clever. Very clever.
I think, you will quickly find out that my dad is actually my stepdad, played by the wonderful Gil Birmingham. And yes, you're right, the Native American culture is full of amazing myths. But what I love about that dynamic with Maddie and her stepdad is even though she's not born of a culture, she's heavily influenced by one. And culture is so fluid that I think it's an interesting thing. Like, we listen to hip hop all over the world, there's yoga studios on every street corner, like there's a fluidity to culture, and Rin is of the sea and coming onto the land. Like, what would it look like for her if she was meeting people not in Bristol Cove, but in Brazil? You know, so I found that interesting to play with, like, yes, researching the Haida culture and really getting into that, because there are some amazing myths, like about the salmon boy and stuff, which is a water creature, but also thinking about the parallels between Rin and Maddie.
Yeah. Right.
And I think your question also points to the diversity of our cast, which
I did notice that.
You know, it
I
was-
love the POC that I just saw everywhere in that pilot.
yeah.
Yes.
And you know, we have to give a lot of credit to the network for that, because you know, our first instinct was, oh well, we want it to feel real, and if anyone's been to small town coastal Washington State, not the most diverse place on the planet. And the network really pushed us to cast in a diverse way, and it just, like you say, it opens up all this amazing story, and it just feels like modern and cool and interesting. So it's been a real breakthrough for us.
And if I can just piggyback on that, you know, just as a person of color who's on the show, it's really nice and kind of refreshing as an actor and as a performer, as a storyteller, to be given license to be a part of this fantasy. You know, like, I'm a fan. Like, I grew up a fan. I grew up on comics and trading cards and all of that stuff. And you really don't see yourself. You don't. And you don't really realize how much of an impact it has on you until you do. And as a performer and as a fan, I give so much thanks to you guys for opening up that world to us to make it feel like we can play with you. You know, we can be a part of the fun and the fantasy and the danger, because in fantastical worlds, we're not there. So it's nice to break the mold.
Well, Ian, what's also so beautiful about what you're saying is, thank you. A lot of the looking at it that way has gone away for us, whereas we would make decisions about what people should look like and do look like. Those things go away, which is the real big picture that I think we should all be looking at eventually.
I totally agree, yeah. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So guys, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful crew. And please remember there is a super awesome live mermaid tank across the street from the main entrance of the Javits Center. As you saw in Siren, these are not your average mermaid. It's intense. Go have a great time. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Ariel. Thank you.
You guys.